What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ginger News. So we're here once again to talk about knife crime, and it always makes me sick when we talk about knife crime because I've lost a few of my friends to dumb knife violence, and nobody deserves to lose their life, especially at a very young age. And nobody, regardless of your age, nobody deserves to lose their life, especially not through something as horrific as knife crime. Anyway, knife crime. Home Secretary says senseless violence must end. The Home Secretary has condemned the senseless violence that has seen a rise in the number of teenagers being stabbed to death across the UK. Sahar Javid was speaking after the murders of the 17-year-old girl in East London and a boy also aged 17 in Greater Manchester at the weekend. He will meet with police chiefs on Wednesday to look at ways to combat violence. Figures show the number of children in England aged 16 and under being stabbed rose to 93% in the 5 years to 2018. Mr. Javid said, "We're taking action on many fronts. It is vital that we unite to stop the senseless violence. Young people are being murdered across the country and it can't go on." So here are some key points. Can knife crime be stopped before it starts? Fatal stabbings at highest level since 1946. Rising knife crime in England and Wales. Former Metropolitan Police Commissioner Lord Hogan House said the government should appoint a leader or TSAR to get a grip on the problem and that people should be in charge of how money is spent, especially on recruitment, not individual forces. I'd want to know week after week, when are you recruiting them? When do they arrive? When do they get trained? And when do they hit the streets? He told the BBC. You want to know day by day what's going to get delivered, and I don't get the sense of a grip. So there was a boy stabbed on Saturday evening. Yusuf Galaf Maki from Burnage was stabbed to death in the village of Hale Barnes near Altrincham. I'm very sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of this guy's name. I mean, no disrespect at all. Two boys, also aged 17, have been arrested on the suspicion of murder and remain in police custody. Yusuf's death came a day after Jodie Chesney was killed in a knife attack in an East London park on Friday night. The teenager was stabbed in the back as she played music with 5 friends in a park, and Metropolitan Police said officers say Jodie's attacker was a black male in his late teens, but gave no further details. There are no description of a second suspect. Jodie's family branded it as a totally random and unprovoked attack. So Yusuf Maki and Jodie Chesney, both 17, were killed in separate knife attacks 2 days apart. The killing follows the death of 3 other teenagers in knife attacks in Birmingham in 2 weeks, prompting West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner David Jameson to brand the situation a national emergency. Hazrat Uzma, 17, was killed in Bordsley Green on Monday. Abdullah Mohammed, 16, died in Small Heath the previous week, and 7 days earlier, Sidala Mohammed, 16, was stabbed outside a college in Highgate. What London can learn from Scotland and tackling knife crime. Scotland's Violence Reduction Unit. Meanwhile, figures from an investigation by Channel 4's Dispatch programme suggest that the number of children and young people in England and Wales linked to murders and manslaughters using knives has risen more than 75% over 3 years. The number of police recorded offences aged under 18 rose from 26 to 46 between 2016 and 2018. The program found, after analysing Freedom of Information request responses from 29 out of 43 police forces, NHS data also shows that the number of children aged 16 and under treated for stab wounds in England rose from 180 in 2012 to 2013 to 347 in 2017 to 2018. That's a big jump in a very few amount of years. So this is the playground where Jodie was found. The Home Office said it set out a range of actions to tackle violent crime in October. They include a £200 million youth endowment fund, consultation on a new legal duty to underpin a public health approach to tackling serious violence, and an independent review of drug misuse. It said an extra 970 million in police funding is proposed for 2019 to 2020, and added that the offensive weapon bill currently before Parliament will introduce new offences to tackle knife crime and acid attacks. Home Office Minister Victoria Atkins told BBC Radio 4 today programme said a week of national action on knife crime took 9,000 knives from the streets and saw more than 1,000 arrests. She said the Knife Free campaign aimed to make the point that the overwhelming majority of people do not carry knives. Okay, so I'm going to give my 2 pence on this situation. So the whole thing with knife crimes, I think it comes also down to parenting. I think I think adults need to speak to their kids more, because this seems to be happening under a lot of like parents under their nose really without them knowing. And sometimes maybe you should like speak to your kids more and like see what's going on with them, because for someone to stab someone, that takes a lot, and especially to kill someone and take their life, especially when these attacks seem to be over nothing. I don't know if there's any reason for any of these attacks at all, but in my opinion, I think that we need more counseling, better parenting, more information about like knives and like the repercussions of what this stuff does, what would essentially happen, like the sentence that you would get and everything. And I think that basically we need to reconnect with the young people in a sense. And a lot of the people who go out and do this sort of stuff are people who basically aren't happy, and then they feel that they have to do these atrocious things. And it's disgusting because people are losing their lives over nothing. And nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to know that their child has died at 17 years old. Nobody wants that. And it's disgusting to hear, because these were two very young people who had the rest of their lives ahead of them, and unfortunately these incidents happened. And so I really hope that we can actually like tackle this problem. But I don't think putting all the money into the police is gonna tackle this problem. I think we need to put more money into youth centers, put more money into counseling, put more money into schools and stuff like that, and try and keep kids off the streets, and keep them away from people who do this sort of stuff. Because a lot of the time, people who end up doing these disgusting crimes who are in gangs, it's normally through peer pressure, and I don't want anyone to fall victim to that, and I don't want anyone to feel that they have to do something like this in order to keep their reputation or to keep what's about themselves, because this is disgusting. People are losing their lives every single day, and it's everywhere. It's not just my city. It's Birmingham, it's London, it's Manchester, it's Liverpool, and it's smaller rural towns as well. That's another thing. A lot of stabbings happen in small rural towns, and they don't get reported. So yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of people that this year have obviously lost their lives through knife attacks and other atrocities like this. And I think as people, as parents, as a society, we need to pay more attention to the young people. We need to try and help them more. There needs to be some sort of like program or something for people who have been in these situations to like help rehabilitate them, because I know people that have been stabbed and it's literally changed their lives, and they're not the same person anymore, and there was no help at all from the government, like no counseling or anything like that. So I think that we should have more counselors. We should try and keep kids more so in schools, because from what this says is a lot of stabbings for people under the age of 16 and like lower than the age of 18. I think we should try and keep kids off the streets. The problem is a lot of kids these days don't act like kids anymore because of the media and stuff making them essentially grow up. And it's just disgusting in the last 5 to 6 years, the epidemic of people in gangs and knife attacks, acid attacks, and all this stuff. It just makes me feel sick. And I really wish that it would stop, because you've got people killing people and they don't even know why. And to take someone's life, that is a very, very serious thing. And they're obviously ruining their lives as well by committing these atrocities. But thoughts and prayers go out to each and every person that have, either suffered at the hands of knife crime, and obviously their families as well. Thanks for watching another episode of GMG News. I'll see you on the next one.